So South Africa is finally cracking down on the country's biggest daily irritation: spam calls. Today we're unpacking whether or not this enforcement will actually stop the telemarketers, the mystery cargo that came in on a blacklisted Russian jet, and the municipality awards that appear to be celebrating the wrong things. Plus, in the Wildcard, we revisit Robben Island's complicated past and the debate over what its future should look like. My friends, if you're enjoying the show, be sure to like and subscribe. And now, with all that out the way, let's get into it. So it's been called a national epidemic. Up to 9 out of 10 unknown phone calls in South Africa are spam. I mean, we've reached a point now where most South Africans hesitate to answer an unknown number because odds are it's just another telemarketer. So after years of unanswered complaints, South Africans may finally start getting some peace. You see, the information regulator has been enforcing new rules under the POPI Act, and this week it gave its first progress update. So since the new rules were finalized in April, over 60 companies have been reported for violations, and one has already been fined 100 grand, which is the first official penalty under the crackdown. So under this new framework, no company can use your personal details without written consent. And once you've opted out, they can't contact you again or repurpose your data. Even those reply stop to unsubscribe messages no longer count as consent. The regulator says that this is just the start of a wider crackdown, one that could finally give South Africans control over who gets to use their number. So yeah, after years of dodging calls, the silence might finally be golden. A Russian cargo plane blacklisted by the US quietly touched down in Upington this week, heavily loaded on arrival and gone hours later with an empty hold. The aircraft belonged to Bagel Bite, a Moscow-based company sanctioned for transporting Russian military equipment across Africa and the Middle East. Now, before reaching South Africa, it had spent weeks in Iran and stopped in Tanzania, with large parts of the route hidden from radar tracking. But now this is where it gets interesting. You see, when it landed in Upington, aviation watchdogs warned local service providers not to refuel or service the plane because Upington owed more than 17 million rand in unpaid aviation fees. Now, despite that, a local firm reportedly handled the payments and ground support so that the flight could proceed. So what was on that aircraft? Nobody seems to know. Upington does hold a special license to transport radioactive cargo and has long been linked to Russia's Africa Corps, which is this rebranded version of the Wagner Group operating across several African states. So yeah, what was on that aircraft remains unknown, and furthermore, government still hasn't said which South African firm helped to handle the flight. South Africa's municipalities just held their version of the Oscars, but instead of red carpets, the prizes went to balance sheets and budgets. The Western Cape dominated, with the DA-run West Coast District taking top honors after 14 straight clean audits. Even Buffalo City, a metro constantly under fire for potholes, water cuts, and waste buildup, walked away with a trophy for funded budgets. But here's the catch: a clean audit doesn't mean good service delivery. It simply shows that the money was accounted for correctly, not that it was spent effectively. So a city can earn praise for paperwork while residents still dodge sewage leaks and broken streetlights. Even our cooperative governance minister admits that the next round of awards will need to measure what people can actually see: functioning infrastructure, clean environments, and consistent service. So until then, these ceremonies say more about accounting than accountability. And before we cruise on to our Bagel Bite of the day, here's a couple other headlines worth knowing. For starters, Gauteng's transport inspectors pulled 62 unroadworthy taxis off the road last week and found over 140 drivers without valid licenses. The province says that it is cracking down hard on what it calls death traps in motion. The ANC's finances have hit another pothole. A Johannesburg court has ordered the seizure of office furniture and frozen its bank accounts over an 85 million rand debt for 2019 election banners. And we all know this one already, it's just great to say out loud. The Springboks made history again, beating Argentina at Twickenham to claim their first ever back-to-back rugby championship titles. Next up, we're playing Japan on the 1st of November. And on to our Bagel Bite of the day. Let's see what you got. The question is, in which modern-day country would you find the ancient city of Troy? Is it A, Greece, B, Turkey, or C, Italy? We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. And on to our wildcard section. If you look at Robben Island, it's easy to imagine the possibilities. A luxury resort, beach bars facing Table Mountain, maybe even an annual music festival under the stars. It's close enough to Cape Town to feel a part of it, yet far enough to feel like an escape. But that fantasy can begin to fade once you remember what the island has carried up until this point. You see, in the 1600s, the Dutch used it to exile rebels and enslaved people. Then the British turned it into a leper economy, then a mental hospital, and then a wartime garrison. For centuries, Robben Island was where South Africa sent the people and the problems that it just didn't want to see. Then came apartheid, the island's most infamous chapter. You see, from the 1960s to the early 1990s, it became a maximum security prison for political prisoners like Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu. So when the prison finally closed in 1996, a few proposals surfaced to reinvent it. We're talking hotels, resorts, tourism ventures. But public sentiments and heritage authorities pushed back, saying it should remain a place of remembrance, not reinvention. As for you though, what do you think? And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is Turkey. You see, for centuries, many historians thought that the place was just pure myth, until archaeologists uncovered it in the 1870s. And what they found wasn't just one Troy, but 9 built on top of each other, each a civilization rising from the last. And my friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you're all feeling well rested after the weekend, that you're ready to take on the new week, because I've got a good feeling about this one. I think we're in for a treat. Either way, guys, be kind to one another, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the next round of the good stuff. God bless.